Victor Allen's New Sports, ladies and gentlemen, written and directed by the bald-headed black man, a recurring segment of the Morning Cartoon News Mario Show. That's right, Victor Allen's unique fan-based view of sports. Rub his head and make a wish. Here's the man that the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Here he is, everybody. Here's Vic. Yeah, Victor Allen.
Yeah. You got it, bro.
Man.
You got it. Everything's flowing like a river, man. Okay, now let me ask you, dude. Honestly, have you been paying attention to preseason football? I mean, really diving into it.
No, because I've been halfway trying to deal with the whole boycott issue.
You mean that maybe? I mean, the boycott.
What I should do.
Right. I got you.
What should I do? What should I should do personally?
No, that's okay.
Specifically, because that impacts other people too. But and what we watch and what we cover. But that is it.
Yeah, I mean, look, at this time right now, we're in between. And I'm not saying that baseball is not, the sport that a lot of people want to talk about, but because the nature of their machine doesn't allow you to have a lot of interpersonal social media connectivity to things off the baseball field. Hey, look, are you trying to say your political connection now is a little bit more tuned in than your sports connection, which tells you the fabric of our politics right now, man? And if
that's what's occurring, I guess.
If Donald Trump had to represent a team in the NFL, which team would it be?
Probably the Redskins.
There you go. All right. There you go. Hey, look, I'm going to keep it real because I can't fake anything, man. I can't fake. What I'm doing now is going over to beast mode because, he's not doing the tailpipe in the banana thing. He's actually sitting down. And what I like about what he has done, and remember now, you guys going to throw dirt, go on and throw dirt. What I like what he's done, he basically sat down and says, hey, look, this is for the people who are being abused. The same relationship somewhere along the way where I said, are they going to get after beast mode the way they got after Kaepernick? No. And let me say this other thing, Mario. The more people that step out, wouldn't that constitute that there's a forgiveness from the NFL owners that, hey, we can take Kaepernick in now because who are we going to point to? I mean, you can't just use him as the scapegoat when you got beast mode doing this.
A different player just says, I don't give,
absolutely.
You could do whatever you want.
And respect it on the field.
Right.
Now, let me just say this. Let me just roll this up, dude, because I thought about this. Let's just replace the time and pretend that the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens are in that Super Bowl when the Super Bowl happened last year. And he made that statement. Would that be a different connection because he's a deliverer of being able to take the team and lead them, and now they respect him more because of what he's done on the field? Or is he a product of, you've been doing kind of weak compared to where you were when you first got in the league, and that's the penalty he's suffering by right now?
Well, I think it's always harder when the player is one of the exceptional players who's performing at like no one says anything in the NBA about Curry.
No.
And then so I think they ought to take the national anthem out of the events.
Ooh, controversial, man.
Yeah, I don't think they need to play that as part of the event.
Yeah, it's not look.
You need to have a Pledge of Allegiance and all that at events.
Right.
You don't need to do that at all those events, and that's not being. And remember, part of my issue with patriotism is that patriotism leads to the kind of philosophies of hate,
absolutely,
and intolerance that led to Nazi Germany.
Right.
You gotta be careful about too much pledge. I say I'm a citizen of the universe. I pledge my allegiance to God. Then you don't need to worry about all the other stuff. So I'm kind of with you on this, but it does make a difference. That's why I said the Raiders. Remember, I'm the one who said the Raiders should sign Kaepernick.
Well, everybody across the board
because it was a fit,
and it's his hometown. That's his town. All his contributions, his donations, giving back to the community. It's a perfect fit, and you got a offensive line that's wreaking havoc. So it's best for him, especially so he doesn't have to go through all that punishment. Okay, let me say this. So what we're saying is, if Kaepernick was better on the field, his voice would be stronger.
It's easier to
If it was
dismiss a player that you see as more marginal in your philosophy, and that's what it comes down to me, bottom line.
Right.
If he was someone bigger and more important, you might take the risk.
Right.
Because you had to, because he was that kind of player. That's why it makes a difference who does it.
Right. So here's the message that's going out, which I'm not saying people should do it. Imagine you're a lesser known player, but you wholeheartedly believe in so much the freedoms. Because when you get off the field, see, part of this sports thing is no matter what you do on the field, once you get off the field, you're done with real life.
Yeah.
So when you're done with real life and somebody says, well, you know what, you're second string. You're not the leader in QB, running back, tight end yards, yak yards, the whole thing. Your voice is not going to be. If you keep touting that and telling them, what you're telling is all these players, don't say anything. You do it on the field first. Because the football game is much bigger than the message that deals with our history and moving forward. Now, it's an individual choice.
And that's a legitimate argument to me, and I just feel it's such a personal decision, Vic. In other words, I'm saying if I'm on a team and you want to sit, you want to stand,
right?
I don't feel like in either case it's my job to tell you what to do.
Let me give you. I agree.
It's too difficult a choice. That's the kind of thing that needs to be personal.
Right.
When I was coming up, I always stood because I told myself I'm gonna stand for everybody's anthem.
Right.
Or at church when they ask you, because I put it in the same category. At church when they ask you to stand for this, I just said I'm standing, but I wasn't doing any crossing my pledging of allegiance. I just would stand.
Watch
silently.
This. I bet you did what I did.
But that was back in those days, and believe me, that was sort of a statement even in those days. But today, this is different.
When you was in church and you would stand and they would have those certain hymns that you didn't know the words to, did you move your mouth like you knew what you were talking about? I did. I did. I'm telling the truth.
Oh,
I would just sit back and go like this.
I was just so tired of being told to stand. I was at church so later, stand, sit, stand. I was like, Lord, you know what? See, this is where you start saying.
You said Lord?
Well, he understands. I told him I'm not going to be standing.
Wait a minute, you said Lord.
He understood I wasn't of that persuasion. It wasn't my religion.
He came into church and said Lord.
I was talking to myself, but that's what we talk.
Okay, wait a minute.
It wasn't my religion.
All right, let me give you an example that shows a lot of people's age if you haven't grown up with this. There was a time that a lot of kids used to have to stand up in elementary school, maybe even junior high, and go, "My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty."
Yeah, we used to do that.
Had to required to do it. So why has it been discontinued?
I used to like singing stuff back then, though.
Wait.
It's bad.
Wait a minute.
I was a kid, so I would like the singing ones.
Wait a minute.
All the songs.
Right, wait.
Oh, Battle Hymn of the Republic. They had you doing all that stuff.
I would just love for somebody to go, we did, because when you're younger, you
sing all that stuff.
You used to sit there and go, "My country, 'tis," and then they stopped. Right. Why did it stop?
I don't know why it stopped.
And nobody cared.
Well, heading into the civil rights movement, protests began.
Right.
And the era of protest began for the Vietnam War.
Right.
For a lot of things. So we entered an era of protest. In general, before that,
right,
you had to really be pushed to protest. People didn't protest. You had to really be kicking their ass for them to come out and protest.
Right.
We entered an era.
Right.
Of protests. And now you have more activism amongst your citizenry because they do look to protest. That's historic.
Right. If you had to go back, and I'm going to move on here too, and I'm going to show you some examples of other people because the I got your back standing for the message and the mission that I understand is starting to galvanize a few folks. And so you see it's happening. The last protest, significant protest that dealt with not necessarily color barriers. Would that be Vietnam War? Would that be the last significant? I'm not talking about black and
well,
the
it depends
injustice.
on how you would say.
Because it was about a thematic,
well,
it was about a war.
That's what you call protest, because the Million Man March, I guess, was not a protest.
No.
Per se. It was more a gathering of
right.
It
was about the black father.
So protests, before Trump, protests, the biggest things would have been the protests of the economic protests, of like when the
Wall Street and all that.
G6, right?
Yeah.
Those economic protests,
Right.
Those were the ones, and of course the conventions.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. It's all relative when you say it.
You've had it for every. You
had
had
it
it
for
for the
every-
conventions,
right.
But you had really the story of the day was to be the citizen protests,
Right.
that related to economics, Occupy Wall Street that started off,
Right.
all the way into Black Lives Matter.
Right.
So that's where your social media.
That's what I'm saying.
Impact is all
Which
there.
I keep telling everybody, the best thing that you could ever do is pull the curtains from behind all those who actually execute power, and then learn about their philosophies and their stance, really, on how they feel versus what they kind of do every 4 years to do those wonderful speeches that tend to be generic and non-specific. To go on. There is the barrier that's being crossed now where teammates, and you're going to see this right offhand, where the Eagles, Chris Long to Malcolm Jenkins, he didn't say this, but this is the message I got. I got your back. During the Philadelphia Eagles 20-16 victory versus the Buffalo Bills game over this weekend, basically putting his hand on his shoulder. Chris Long, during the national anthem of Thursday's preseason game between the Eagles and Bills, basically was saying, hey, I got Malcolm's back. He raised a fist, as Malcolm raised a fist in the air. The Eagles safety has already said he will continue to raise his fist during the national anthem for this entire season, as he did for the majority of last year. We need the stories. And if anybody sits there and says, oh, now you're going to make it more focused because it's somebody who's not of color, I said, excuse me. Whatever message moves and galvanizes a people should be something that's universal. And it should be a statement maker, which this is one of them. And if you even go down move up the page, there is another one where Seahawks Michael Bennett, outspoken, but he's very focused, is getting what they call the support from center Justin Britt. That's during a game over the Minnesota Vikings, which they won 20-13. So
they need to take the anthem out.
Just see what I'm saying. Look,
they just need to take it out.
I'm saying
it's an old tradition. You don't
right.
need to have a pledge of allegiance at every sports event. And first, some of us disagree with. I don't think you should pledge allegiance as. You have to be careful about pledging allegiances because then you end up supporting things that are bad.
Wait a minute now.
You can't support. That's like giving you a blank check, and I don't think you give that to your children.
Well, hey, look, you don't. Things do grow old. Things do. I remember, I'm showing my age again, okay? And obviously I have not been in the military, so all respect to those who have served and are currently protecting our rights and the democratic system. So I do not ever make fun of what they do because they're putting their lives on the line. But I remember in junior high school, they used to have the trumpet, and I forgot the name of the actual, let me do a poor man's kind of imitation of what they would do. Everybody would stop. We would all be out walking during nutrition or whatever, transition to your class, and all of a sudden you heard dun 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 dun. You would literally stop, and I would just look at everybody and go, "This is what we just stopped." You wait till that song's over. I understand it. I understood it better afterwards and what it meant. All respect, but a lot of times we are indoctrinating people, especially at young ages, who may not have any idea what they're doing.
Well, right.
And just saying, I have to do this. And that gets you in trouble.
And the times are historic.
Right.
They did it in Nazi Germany with the youth. Do we want to do that again? I question all of this.
Okay.
That's why I say no. The historic examples are there, and I think all of them should make you be more cautious.
Yeah.
I think they should take the anthem out, and then you don't have this as part of the sporting event.
Yeah, I mean,
very simple.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you all of a sudden
they're gonna go. Everybody gonna move.
Right.
Just, you don't have to have the anthem as part of a.
Right.
Now, when something comes up special, like on the 4th of July or something,
right.
or somebody dies and you want to honor them,
right.
then you can have it should be treated like a prayer.
Right.
You take prayers out of those things. It should be taken out. Just
right.
like and it's not saying anything negative about
your
patriotism. It's like a prayer. Why don't we have prayers openly? Because it causes a bunch of issue with people of different denominations. So treat it like that.
There we go. So there you go. You're seeing now that there's a brotherhood right now because of Charlottesville. The wake-up call hit a lot of folks. And if anybody goes after the athletes to say that's a bigger message to attach them the responsibility of what they have to do with the flag. I said, now you compare it to Charlottesville and go, look at what these people did as their demonstration that had nothing to do with sports. Now, time to shift. I had to do that because it was important, because when you have preseason, the message, this is probably the most popular preseason in NFL football because it is about people taking stances. Well, this is a different subject. It deals with an opinion from the Clippers' Blake Griffin and what he thinks, his own opinion with no information, about the idea that LeBron James will probably, in his mind, because he thinks something's brewing in the mist in New York versus coming to the Lakers or the Clippers. The first thing that got me is how big Blake Griffin is when I looked at this picture. I know LeBron is big because they always say, man, he's a big guy.
Dwayne Wade is bigger than I thought.
Right. So now, for whatever reason, I saw a lot of a few of the shows today, and I'm not going to even tell you what shows they are. He just gave his opinion, and immediately certain folks I won't even get into want to attack. Well, if you did something better, LeBron will come to you. We're just listening to the opinion of what he thinks, not relative to where he's going. Because if you use that as the Clippers relationship, if you guys did better, if you got past the first round, I say, so when LeBron left Cleveland and they weren't even in the playoffs, he came back. Use the same analogy, and they didn't. Here's my question, though. Name an organization that's gone to the NBA championship that had terrible leadership at the top, and they were overcame that to win the NBA championship. When you say the Spurs, great leadership. Golden State Warriors,
I don't know.
great. Why would LeBron go to New York?
He would.
Would he go to New York because James Dolan?
It has to be better than Cleveland.
Right.
He got a better deal in Cleveland, and it's his home.
Right. Now, if you
New York has the attraction of New York City.
Right.
Which, depending upon where you are raised.
Right.
To me, New York City doesn't have an attraction over L.A.
Well,
but if you're raised in different places, maybe to you,
right,
you prefer New York over L.A. Like maybe Carmelo.
Right.
He may prefer New York over L.A. because he grew up. See what I'm saying?
Right.
But most, you and I, you're not going to go to me. You're not going to go to New York and go, I want to be here.
Wait.
You're not going to go there because you grew up in L.A.
So if I'm in this position, am I judging the players on the floor? Or am I judging the leadership above who will get me there first? Where do I go first?
Well, I think that's when you look to the leadership to me, because your reasons for going there, you can say go to L, because they're both huge markets, L.A. and New York.
Yep.
So, and neither one has a super team, the Lakers or the Knicks.
Right.
Okay, so one can make the argument. Now you have to talk about which organization. You want to be under Magic Johnson or you want to be under
Jerry West, Clippers.
Okay, Jerry West, excuse me.
Steve Ballmer, owner.
Right.
So let me just say this.
He's
okay.
not going,
Okay. No, let me just say this. New York is being attached as if it's like the Dallas Cowboys. This is the place that you're supposed to be. Is it considered America's team?
Being overvalued as teams because Kyrie Irving named them. Who else named them?
Well, no, I'm just saying the whole philosophy of New York is make it here at Madison Square Garden. Maybe they go crazy about the culture, right?
Well, that's what I was saying. Right.
Wouldn't they go crazy because they go like, we'll take anything that we can win on because we haven't won since the 70s?
Even though they don't look at it like that.
I'm an NBA title.
They have more of a cultured basketball culture there than we have here in LA.
Absolutely.
Even though they've been losing.
Right.
So I mean, if you're an East Coast person,
right,
you may value that. I just think for you and I,
right,
we wouldn't value it enough to leave LA. It won't mean the same to us.
Oh no, I understand that. If you came up
in Boston, or if you came up in New York,
right,
your all end all might be to play at the Garden.
So playing at the Garden with Trump, ooh, did I say that word? Ooh. Trump going, where's my best market and greater success?
It might, for like Carmelo. Obviously, remember, Kyrie Irving named the places at least for what they're publishing, right? Of course. That where he would want, and he included the Knicks. And I thought that was incredible. I was like, why?
I think what they're doing is saying this. I'm the one that's going to make the change. I think
But
everybody,
it was only 4 teams, and he
right,
included the Knicks.
right, and I'm saying I think people go in there. I think LeBron can turn around and go, "I'll come and do at the Knicks that nobody's been able to do since Pat Riley was there."
No.
Versus this, rank the teams from the best opportunity to get there and win an NBA championship the fastest between the Clippers, Lakers, and Knicks. 1, 2, 3. Who's your number one? Who's your number two? Who's your
Lakers and Knicks.
Yeah.
Clippers.
number one?
Yeah.
Number two?
Lakers.
See, y'all? I try to tell you, New York. I don't know.
They don't have a good. I see the Lakers making already improvements. They look different. Things are better.
Right.
Attitude is different.
Right.
That's important.
Right.
Clippers, to me, it's still more of a precision thing with them, with the money and who they can get.
Well, yeah.
And all that. That's why.
They don't have a brand yet.
Yeah, it's different on that level. But
Right.
let's just say they're up around that.
Right.
I mean, they may not be a finalist, but they're up around.
Yeah, look, I would want the Lakers to. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm not even envisioning
The
that
Lakers
LeBron
should be respectable this year,
yeah.
right? We all expect that, right?
I'm not expecting anything to turn over quickly with them. I'm just now knowing that their leadership is consistent. When you have a faction in there and it's going against, you can't focus. And now that they have that consistency, they're going to need time. And because they got the money, I'm not looking at it as a LeBron thing. I'm looking at it as that I'm willing to be patient about what Boston did. I can give them a few years. I have no problem. I'm just making sure that the leadership doesn't get in the way, as New York has done.
Well, that's where you have that.
Yeah.
And the Lakers, the Clippers look solid.
Right.
Then the Lakers are, to me, a step down.
Right.
But that's a debate for everybody to have. To be seen. Let's put it like that. It definitely needs to be seen.
Right.
What happens now for the Lakers, but the Clippers look solid. Lakers seem to be more solid. We have to see.
Got to build up. Can't get there real fast. Got to build it up. All right. You know what? I'm going to tell you my thoughts on any time this subject comes up where they say, you know what, there's possible tampering. And of course, if you follow the news, NBA investigating the Paul George scenario as it relates through Magic Johnson as possible tampering. And here's my question. Casual talk. Tampering takes place all the time.
I'm sure it does.
So either Magic got into a place where he says, hey, I'm new on the job, and here's things I freely could do before, and now I'm learning, and I did have a misstep, or they're just hating. They're just hating.
Well,
the Pacers are just hating because something overt happened in their minds, and they said, we don't have Paul George, we ain't got nobody coming back.
But Paul George didn't go to the Lakers. He went to
OKC.
OKC.
But everybody knows that's a 1-year term, and he may migrate over next year, the following year.
You know what? All of these things usually have to do with what you can prove. So that means there always has to be a third party.
Right.
Who's the one who even brought it to the media.
Right.
Who's going to testify or say it.
Right.
So all of these things have to involve other parties. And the question is, who are the other parties?
So if Mario is like the Kyrie Irving, and he's at the airport, and while he's at the airport, there's this team. It's Popovich. Popovich is landing. Mario's about to take off. They walk through the same place. They see each other coming. And Mario says, I can't talk to you. That's tampering. So Mario says,
No, but like I said, it depends what they say and who's the third party. Right.
Right.
That gets back to is it the other people standing around and say,
so I saw them.
I saw them.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. There has to be something like that.
Okay. So here's the thing. Do you think Magic Johnson, with his jovial persona, probably did just start talking, and he's learning on the job, and it's a good possibility he did something unintentional, or is this just straight hateration? What do you think?
I had to know what kind of a probe it is.
Yeah. They're not giving us any information.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it's, if it's
Maybe
if
routine stuff,
it's
but yeah, I don't
procedurally, if he did something, it wasn't
know.
intent.
Like I said, it's because all of my opinions depend on who the third party
And
is.
they're always talking.
Right, so I have to know who's reporting what.
Okay. Well, here, my exit subject is going to be when you actually have a wonderful event that's happening, you can't help it when you have what we call the sports eclipse update. Alabama football coach speaks. Everybody in the hubbub. Notice I said old term for you old folks, older folks. Hubbub. I'm trying to keep it like in that swag. 2.5 minutes of something spectacular.
Like sex.
Let me say this. What do you think is more important than Nick Saban? The 2.5 minute drill going down the field, time running out to win the NCAA championship. That 2.5 minutes is more of an impact to our community than watching an eclipse for 2.5 minutes when we haven't seen one in decades or almost, through lifetimes with your parents or whatever. What's more important, Mario? Because he may have a point here, man. What would you rather see? Watch this.
Well, I think he's right, but in the sense that people are going to say that's it.
Right, that's it, right?
But like I said, it's like sex.
Well,
2 minutes,
and that's
memorable
it.
For some.
Wait a minute, you're gonna say that's it?
A lot of other people, that's it.
Do not support him on that one. This is what his quote is. It's going to last for 2 minutes, and I'm sure it will be a memorable experience for a lot of people. And then everybody's going to say that's it. So he's speaking on behalf of that whole community that said that's
right.
it. And I'm saying
He's old, that's why.
thank you. Thank you.
That's why he feels that way.
That's right. So for the most part, I just want you guys to know the Eclipse has this moments, and this is our spokesman. So all of you guys now, the Eclipse is about over. How many people say and tweet hashtag that's it? And if nobody does, he's wrong. I'm out, man. New Sports, I'm out of here, man.
Victor Allen of New Sports. Every week, a recurring segment of the Morning Cover with Mario show. You can see it, experience Vic's unique fan base for U.S. sports. Rub his head and make a wish. We're here every week. A joyful process. The New Sports. Dress appropriately. Sports bras and jock straps. You got things to prove.
It's going to be a quick segment.